Today on the Ask Brady Show, we talk about church photography and why it is one of the most important things that you can focus on in 2017. Well, hey there, and welcome to the Ask Brady Show. I'm Brady, your host, joined by my co-host, to my left, your right, Roxanne, and we're here to answer your questions pertaining to church media, church digital, and church communications. I just got out of the studio recording video announcements for the week. Normally I record on a Thursday, and we record this on a Wednesday, but one of our presenters, Drew, was like, can we switch? And I said, fine.
Wow.
But, after doing 28 sets of video announcements, your throat, it just hurts a little bit. But I'm going to bring my absolute best for Ask Brady. Okay, you know what? I take it back. We're screwed. We're screwed. Anyone that asked a question in this episode, you're done. You're getting nothing.
Yeah, they asked a question.
I asked you a question, yeah. All right, so I have not that very much to say before we jump right into the questions. You have a nice blue dress on.
Thank you.
I feel like I shouldn't start every show by analyzing what you're wearing because that seems a little bit sexist.
It's true. It's like red carpet. Why do women always get asked about their dress?
Exactly. So let's focus on me. I'm wearing a nice chambray button-down, short sleeve. I've got one of my favorite black and brown beaded bracelets on, my gray skinny jeans, and my black, just regular tie-up shoes.
Someone noted in the last episode on YouTube that we matched, and we match again.
We do. I almost always wear something that's like bluish, and so if you wear blue, which your glasses now will always reflect a little bit of blue, then you are probably always going to match with me in some way. And you know what? I really do care about my clothes too. So it's not just it's not a woman's thing. But this is not a sexist thing. Let's analyze my clothes.
From now on, that's what we will do.
I love it. In fact, here's an interesting tidbit about my pants. These pants I bought from Zara, and they're a certain line of Zara pants, waist size 30. And I think they have 2% spandex in there, which is pretty classic, normal for skinny jeans. Anyway, I have not washed these pants or my other set of Zara pants of the same line.
Ever?
I think it's been months. Because I worked out enough where like I gained 5 to 8 pounds of pretty good muscle, along with let's say a little bit of fat. Gained maybe 5 to 10 pounds from when I bought these pants. And now I'm very afraid that if I wash them, I just won't be able to get back in them. But they're like my favorite pairs of pants. They're so good. They fit so well. They're so comfy. They look great. What am I supposed to do?
Do you keep them in the freezer now?
No. But one of them has like this tiny little bit of chocolate on it, and the other one has like a tiny bit of like coffee stain. Luckily, they're up by the thigh, high up where not anyone's looking, crotchal region. But it's upsetting because I think to myself, these jeans are probably a little bit gross.
Yeah.
And now everyone knows my secret.
Well, that's a good start.
I don't like
Ask
being
Brady
the person that gets their clothes like critiqued. Let's give it back to the women. Oh, this blue shirt, where'd you get it?
Forever 21.
Roasted. All right, let's get to the questions.
All right, question 1 comes from Angelique, and she sent in a video.
Hey Brady, it's Angelique from Cape Town in South Africa, and my question is related to church communications as a whole. So I recently took over basically the whole communications team, and I'm very underqualified and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm following you, so I believe I'm on the right track. Anyway, so we kind of were in a place where everything was repeated on every platform. We scheduled just everything on every platform, exactly the same thing. And I've watched you say that is the wrong thing to do and that you should have exclusive content. So my question is, where would you start by kind of implementing that? Because I'm not sure as to what people would want to see exclusively on, say, Facebook. What would make it worthwhile for them to have that content on Facebook, Because I'm kind of scared of people going exclusively only to Facebook because that's just the content that they want. I kind of want them to be on most of our platforms, since there's going to be content that is specific to that platform. as that is the goal. But I'm not sure how to do that, how to approach that, because, I'm unsure as to what would spark their interest on each platform. Okay, I hope that you understand what I'm asking, and looking forward to a useful answer. Thank you.
This question is one that is something a lot of churches have to deal with and tackle. And to kind of start with what Angelique was getting at, the first part is my recommendation that you don't post duplicate content on multiple platforms. I was speaking with a church, doing a coaching call with them, Pro Church Podcast Coaching Edition, new session every Thursday. And they were a multi-campus church, 5 to 7 campuses. And we were talking about, hey, should we have multiple Facebook pages for each of our individual campuses? And what I did was I went to each of their Facebook pages, and they were posting the exact same content on every single one of their Facebook pages. So a video on the main campus, a video on this campus, exact video, exact same caption, exact same time of day that it was published. And so my question was, why are you doing this? The reason that you need to post unique content on every social platform is twofold. Firstly, each social platform has its own sets of culture and kind of language nuances and details. Secondly, if you want the people within your church and community who follow you online to follow you on every different social platform, you've got to give them a reason to. And that was part of Angelique's question. If I'm following your church online and you post the same stuff on Facebook as you do Instagram, as you do Twitter, why would I follow you on all three of those? You're just muddying my feed with multiple sets of the exact same content. If I follow you on Twitter, and I unfollow people all the time in churches all the time for doing this, where if I see what you posted on Instagram on your Twitter, why am I following you? Now, that's not to say you can't post the same content so much as it says you can't post duplicate content. Now, the nuance there is that what you can do is take the same subject matter, the same kind of content idea, and then repurpose it across different platforms. So I'm going to use me as an example. Every week, I schedule the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram content that we publish. So for instance, one of the pieces of content that we published this week on Instagram was a quote post that said, it's this quote post. There's a picture of me with a blue gradient, the prochurchtools.com logo at the bottom. It's a square image, and it says, find the intersection between how your church can help people and what people already value. What I did was, we also made a video this week that talked about that idea. And on Twitter, I had 140 character little text-only post that said, quick tip, and then put that same idea in 140 characters or less. And so now, that's not duplicate content. It's the same idea that's being published on each individual social platform in their own unique language. Video for Facebook, quote post for Instagram, text-only, quick little tip on Twitter. And so one thing that I've done to manage this for our platforms is on Twitter, I do a ton of quick tips. That's what I like to call them. It's like my Twitter feed will say quick tip, colon, and then the quick tip will be there. And I only have 140 characters. So I've got to take a big idea that I might have a 4-minute video on with Facebook or YouTube and condense it into 140 characters. And then I'll take a similar kind of quote. Maybe I'll make it a little bit longer. I'll add a lengthy caption. I'll add a quote post, turn it into a quote post. Now I'm talking like Angelique, and put it on Instagram. Same idea, same quote unquote content, but repurposed for each individual platform. And so that's what you want to do. And that's why we also say start social media and use social media. Go deep before you go wide. Figure out your one platform before you go to a second. It is uncanny how many churches, and this has been great doing the Pro Church podcast coaching edition podcast, because I get to speak with churches for like an hour at length. We've done about 15 so far, and it is uncanny how often churches will solve a communications problem not by making a tough decision, not by consolidating or condensing what they're doing, but instead by adding more, right? Our website isn't solving our digital needs really, so let's add an app, and let's also add a bulletin, and let's also add, and it's just like, well, if your website just did its freaking job, you wouldn't need to spend also on an app and printing and folding and handing out and updating weekly bulletins. And so the same goes for social. Churches are like, man, our Facebook is doing okay. If we had Instagram, it would do even better. And then you're just posting the same thing on Facebook and Instagram. Figure out and consolidate and condense before you move to multiple. And I understand the reason, because the reason that churches do this is because if you're the communications director, and let's say you're someone like Angelique, who admitted herself, I'm new to this, I'm not super experienced or even confident on necessarily how to make decisions. it's a lot easier for you to create a variety of different communication channels. And then if they don't work, you can say, look, it's our church's problem. We gave them all these options and they still couldn't manage it. Rather than you condensing into a single platform and then it not working and then it was your fault. Right? And that's kind of the underlying reason behind the decisions that we make. Churches, let's put a slider on our website. Let's get an app, a website, and a bulletin. Let's do all these things so that we can just create all of these different options. And if they don't work, look, we gave everyone a different option rather than make the tough decision, consolidate, and condensify, which is obviously not a word. When it comes to this answer, Angelique, the best thing to do and consider is that the reason why you need to have unique content on each site is for using the actual culture and rules and languages that is unique on each platform, and also recognizing that if you don't have unique content on each, why am I following you on multiple platforms? There's no reason to do so. Use that as kind of the foundation, and you'll be able to build an actual content strategy from there. When it comes to like what each platform is good for, Facebook and YouTube are obviously very video-centric. Especially on Facebook, you want to do live videos. Instagram is still very visual-centric, but you also have Instagram stories, which is very unique. And unlike any other platform aside from Snapchat, which you're not going to have the same audience on, Twitter, quick and super pithy, because that's what Twitter is made for. You've only got 140 characters, so you got to be very content-rich. You don't want to use any words you don't need. So hopefully that can be helpful.
All right. Question 2 comes from Lexi, and she actually sent in multiple part questions, so I'm just going to ask the first part first.
Yeah, because before you get into that, this was an email that got sent to me personally, and rather than respond to Lexi, because the questions were so important, and we hadn't had them asked yet, I asked Roxanne to split them up into the final 3 questions on this episode of Ask Brady, and we're going to kind of tackle Lexi's giant question into 3 parts, because again, it's something that churches need to hear, but we haven't had asked yet, and so I wanted to get on the Ask Brady show. So take it away, Roxanne.
Perfect. So her first part is, should we be posting videos? If so, how long? What content? I have heard different and even conflicting answers from people I equally admire in the social media business.
We are going to be posting a YouTube video next week called The Best Social Media Strategy for Churches in 2017. And in that, I break down in detail that Facebook Live videos, not streaming your service, but simply having your pastor hold up their phone and doing a Facebook Live once a week for 5 to 10 minutes in length, talking about their life, talking about what it's like being a spouse, being a parent, why they can't, get to the gym as much as they want to, how they're growing spiritually, how they're struggling spiritually, and just showing what it's like to be a follower of Jesus rather than just telling us like they do from stage every single week. Not that that's bad, but we don't want to replicate that on social if we don't need to. That's the absolute best strategy for video, for social as a whole, for churches in 2017. Facebook Live, 5 to 10 minutes. It's free. It leverages your pastor's existing strength of communication. It is quick and easy, requires no gear, no setup. You can do it anywhere. That video is going live next week. It breaks down that strategy in more greater detail. So that, when it comes to video, I would recommend that's content and length. If you're publishing on YouTube, the average length of videos is kind of like 3 to 5 minutes. So we try to keep our YouTube videos, except for like our longer, this is kind of a boutique type of video, but our regular videos, our quick hitters are like 3 to 5 minutes in length. When it comes to social, I'm actually a bigger fan, especially with the type of content that a church is producing, of doing, again, going deep rather than wide. When you look at the best performing videos on social, you'll probably see that really quick ones are the best performing, but those are the type of videos that are inclined to go viral. Your church is not going to create something that's going to go viral. It's just not going to happen. So you don't need to create a 6 to 15 second video of mass hilarity and hope that goes viral, because Roxanne, even if it did, what good would it do your church? Yeah. Being consistent on social media, showing up every single day in small doses is the most important part of your social media strategy and is more impactful over time and even in the short term than a viral video campaign. I've heard stories of, people that went viral and they're like, yeah, it actually didn't help my business grow at all. It was a flash in the pan and it was good for a couple seconds, but then long term, it didn't really do much. So same goes for your church. Viral, nothing is going to be worth that. So when Lexi's talking about competing opinions, what she's probably hearing are voices in the social media world saying, when we look at the best performing videos, we're seeing that shorter videos are performing well. But the context that's lacking in that type of data is that those are the type of videos that your church is just never going to be creating, and not something that you want to try to create either. And so when it comes to length, I really love like 5 to 10 for live, 3 to 5 for for kind of your content videos. And then when it comes to Instagram stories and Instagram videos are going to limit you to 60 seconds. So you got to work within that. One way to work around that is you can put 60-second videos in the collections now. If you can put photo collections and you slide over, you can do videos with that as well. So if you had a 3-minute video, you could upload each video into a single collection. And at the end of each 60 seconds, kind of be like a swipe right, put that on the screen, and you could post your whole video within the Instagram feed that way. And then with stories, you've got 15 seconds for each story, video that kind of line up next to one another. And so you've got to work within those constraints as well. But the big question, and I think takeaway from this, is that the short videos that perform exceptionally well, 6 to 15 seconds, 60 seconds, these really aren't the type of videos, I think anyway, that your church is going to be inclined to create. You could do kind of a 60-second breakdown of a message, but I've even seen churches do this before, and they can't really create anything that's super concise and clear within those 60 seconds. It's super choppy. We did this for a while. It's just like, I don't know if that's worth it. So hopefully that helps with the length question of video. And yes, you should be posting video. That was, I guess, the first question in that first of 3 questions. Video is the most popular and dominant medium of our time. And that is not something to be argued or even like debated. It's just true. And so yes, you should be doing video. Absolutely. Here's a side note on that. Video, you don't have to do what we're doing right now anymore. You don't need $2,000 cameras with $1,000 lenses, $1,000 microphones in this beautiful room with perfect lighting. Video has been democratized. All you need is your phone. Take it out, point it at you, do an Instagram story. Take it out, point it at you, do a Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. We love that now. Thank you, Snapchat.
Right. All right. Second part. Should our posts be more graphics or more people/photos of the community?
I got a Facebook message from a company yesterday that runs a social media graphics site. It's not Sunday Social and Jonathan Malm. It's a different site, in case you were wondering. And basically he asked me, he said, I'd love to come on your podcast and we can talk about social media. I love what you've been saying lately about social. And he's like, this is the site I run. We could talk about it. And I said to him very frankly, I said, I do not think that churches should sign up for your service and download your pre-made graphics and use them on social. So I think it would be disingenuous to have you come on. And he was very, very cordial about it and very generous and kind. I do not see very much value in you posting pre-made graphics or even custom-made graphics on social. The reason that we use social is to connect with other people. And so as much as possible, doesn't mean you can't ever use graphics, you want to use real-life video, real-life photos, and especially within your photos even more, pictures of people's faces. We have this scoring system on social where you kind of use engagement, you divide it by reach, you give your social posts a score out of 100. You will find that when you do that over all of your posts, the posts that perform the best are ones that have people in them. So if you're posting just a graphic that's like, Happy Mother's Day or July 4th, Independence Day party, that will perform significantly less well than a post of, someone at a, picnic from last year. And then that being what's advertising your 4th of July Independence Day party or whatever you're doing at church for that, Freedom Sunday, whatever you might want to call it. We want to connect as humans with other humans. And this is why posting actual pictures is so much more valuable than posting graphics. Mm-hmm. And this is even more exacerbated when it comes to pre-made graphics. If you're just downloading a graphic from one of these sites and posting it on social, you wouldn't just grab a message from Stephen Furtick and click play at your church. You just wouldn't do that. There are pastors that are bad at writing messages and will steal them from others. There are ones that will log onto the internet, Saturday night and go to goodpreachermessages.com and then steal one. And we all think that's a bad idea. The same thing goes for social. Not only is it actually worse, I think, on social because it is documented on the internet forever, never to disappear, and you have more of people's attention on social. So pre-made graphics are just ridiculous. And I know this question wasn't about pre-made graphics necessarily, but I did want to kind of get that in there because it's something I haven't publicly said before, and I think it's important. But when it comes to graphics versus photos are always better. Why? Because Brady said so? No, because if you look at the data, photos will always outperform graphics on social 9 times out of 10. And so we want to do what we know social wants. This is very simple. When you're working with algorithms on social media, and Facebook and Instagram, the 2 most important social platforms for your church, have these algorithms. You need to create stuff that the algorithms like so they will give you more organic reach. If you've got a ton of money to spend on social, you don't have to play by the rules as much because you can just pay to have your stuff shown to whom you want to see. But when it comes to working within the organic reach of a social platform like Facebook or Instagram, the best way to boost your organic reach is to do what the algorithm wants you to do. And this goes back to what I was talking about in the first question. The customs and cultures and nuances of each social platform are unique. And so you need to do more of what the algorithm wants so that the algorithm will say to itself, as a robot, hey, as like a conscious entity, hey, when Lexi's church posts this type of thing, more people see it and they like it. They engage with it positively. I will show more people this type of thing when they post this type of thing. And when you look at the data, photos are always the thing that people interact with best when it comes to still images. Videos are better than photos, but if you had to compare graphics and photos, it's no contest.
I actually got an email earlier today from a church that was like, oh, we're not getting a lot of engagement on our post. Can you just like take a look at our Instagram or whatever? So I looked at it and it was all graphics. And instantly I was like, oh my gosh, I would never follow this. Like instantly, because I was like, this is so boring. It was just graphics of like scripture verses. So I ditto that.
Yeah, because it's not people, you know? Like you see the face of like someone at your church. You see the face of your pastor. That's what we connect with. And this is not rocket science. I would rather and more prefer connecting with a person than connecting with a font. It's just, that seems pretty normal, right?
It seems pretty average. All right, part 3. What is the best way to increase the amount of quality photos we get each Sunday? I shoot with a Sony a7R II each weekend, but it is very difficult for me to cover the ground of our entire campus and still get a lot of good shots. We can recruit another photographer volunteer, but the camera she would be shooting on is far inferior, and I'm afraid the quality would suffer.
Earlier I said that the best way to grow on social media is to show up every day. Small baby steps, small doses on the daily will help you grow so much more than like a giant viral campaign. That is, a strategy, a rule of life that applies in everything. If you just do a little bit better with fitness and nutrition daily, when you look back in 12 months, you'll have made huge progress rather than if you do, a 30-day fad diet or something like that. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that it works. And so we have a guy behind the camera that I actually want to come up right now. Alex, come up here. So for those that are listening, Alex is our most recent hire. Grab your camera too. Alex is our most recent hire. Actually, our second most recent hire, but like a week. And just come in right here. And one of his jobs is to take photos all the time of what we're doing here at Pro Church Tools, because we recognized that we were just kind of taking stills from our videos, and I don't have the skills of taking photos. And so Alex has brought in his Canon, what is this, a Mark II, 5D Mark II. And all the time that we're shooting Ask Brady, when we're shooting our videos, he's taking photos. You've seen them on Instagram if you follow me there, at Brady Shearer. And that's been his main thing. So thank you, Alex. You can go back now. The reason I say this is because what we've been doing is we've been having Alex take pictures whenever I'm shooting a video, whenever something around the office seems, exciting, during Ask Brady. And what we've been doing is creating this folder on the server and just filling it up more and more and more of photos of Pro Church Tools. Because we know that, when we need them, when I need a photo on a Monday morning and I'm putting together all of my Instagram content for the week, or when we need a photo for an upcoming podcast, article, video, we want to have that photo already there. And so we're creating this big folder. You are not going to be able to capture everything, Lexi, on a single Sunday for a year. But if you shoot every Sunday for, a couple months, you'll have everything that you need for a full year. And let's say you just needed to shoot enough to have content for every week. You can shoot 7 photos every Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure of your unique context when it comes to like tackling like the full church campus, but you can do that over time, right? Like you can do the kids ministry one week, the auditorium another week, the lobby another week. And over the course of a month, 2, maybe even 3, you'll have everything you need. Shoot 100 photos every single weekend, and you'll have tons to work from for your website, for social, for videos, for whatever you might need. And then what I highly recommend you do is what we've done here, and this is what Alex has done exceptionally well, is he's given kind of a unique look to all of the photos, and he uses that same kind of Lightroom preset or Lightroom workflow to treat every single one of the photos so they all look the same. You see a photo that we've done now, and obviously it's going to be shot in the same place with similar lighting, which is huge to making the looks consistent, but the Lightroom workflow is also the same. And so now you see a photo and, oh yeah, that's the Pro Church Tools kind of team. The same way that you'd keep a font, you'd keep your colors, you'd keep your logo consistent to create a visual brand. We've been taking that same approach to our still images, to our photos, giving them the same treatment so they all look similar. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to tackling all of these photo things, the key is to just small doses, day after day, week after week. That's what's going to give you the content and the catalog, the archives of photos that you need long term. Whew. Well, we got through it. I think there was lots of great stuff in this session, this episode of Ask Brady. If you want your question answered, what would you do, Roxanne?
You got to hashtag Ask Brady on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter.
No, you ruined it. See, I gave you a shot. 22 episodes in, I gave you a shot, and it was bad.
I'm like that person that never listens to announcements at church.
Oh my goodness. I will not disagree with that statement. If you want your question answered, hashtag Ask Brady, Instagram and Twitter. In the comments below on Facebook and YouTube with the hashtag Ask Brady. Roxanne, redeem yourself. What would you do if you wanted to get your question immediately prioritized and sent to the top of the queue?
Well, then you got to send in a video question because we prioritize them and you will get to go first.
Angelique did that. She became a member of Pro Church Nation. She was like, I want my question answered. Oh, but I'm kind of new. What would happen? I'll send in a video question. Send in your video question. You will get immediately sent to the top of the queue. We publish a new episode of Ask Brady every single Friday. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.
I had a friend in college, and you know how there's just always that one person in like a class who's like the person you make fun of?
Of course.
So his nickname was Balls.
Oh yeah, Balls.
Yeah. He gave that name to himself, so it's his own fault.
Oh, I remember the story.
Yeah. but the popular guy in our class, every single time Balls would be talking, he would just like listen for a few minutes and then just be like...
Did like the nickname Balls, like, was it a common nickname?
No.
Like, did people use it?
Yeah.
Like in class?
Like, yes. Our professors called him that. For the first year, I didn't even know what his real name was.
So, Chris, Balls, you guys have to say
Literally.
So Chris Chase was walking around saying, what's up, Balls?
Well, Chris wasn't working at the school yet, but our other professors.
How is this the thing? How did that become...
Now I call him by his last name.
Let's take a break.
You said break, not a nap.
Okay. Drink Canada Dry.